Hey guys, so welcome to the second lecture for Indices. Now this question says, when a caterpillar larvae hatches, it only weighs 10 to the power of negative 2 grams. However, each day it is able to eat 10 to the power of 4 times its body weight. How many grams of food can the larvae eat each day? Okay, so now let's quickly write out the information that's been given to us, or we can also underline it as we have been in the past. So it only weighs 10 to the power of negative 2 grams, and it's able to eat 10 to the power of 4 times its body weight. Now, that part's really important. So, times its body weight. I'm just going to underline the entire bit here. So, its weight is 10 to the power of negative 2 grams, and it eats 10 to the power of 4 times its body weight, which in this case is 10 to the power of negative 2. So using our first index law, we know that since the bases are the same here, all we have to do is simply add the powers because we're doing a multiplication. So we have 10 to the power of 4 plus negative 2. And as we know, plus and minus simply gives us a negative. So 10 to the power of 4 minus 2, which gives us 10 to the power of 2 grams. Therefore, in order to answer this question, we would say, therefore, the larvae eats 10 to the power of 2 grams of food each day. Now, guys, this might seem a little bit annoying, but I assure you that it is a really good habit to get into to answer questions in this worded form like we have just done. Alrighty, let's move to the next question. Okay, now this question says, if 7% of the world's population of 7 times 10 to the power of 9 people are in the United States, how many people are in the United States? So, again, let's write out the most important parts of this information. So we have 7% of the world's population, which is given to us as 7 times 10 to the power of 9. Now, as we know, of simply means multiplication. And I'm going to write the 7% out as a fraction. So we have 7 over 100 times 7 again, and then times 10 to the power of 9. Now, guys, there's a few ways we can do this or write this out. So first, let's work with our two sevens. So we have 7 times 7, which gives us 49. And then we have times 10 to the power of 9, and the whole thing is over 100. Now, that's because the denominators for these two numbers were simply 1. So 100 times 1 times 1 gives us 100 at the bottom there. All right, now 100, as you know, is simply 10 to the power of 2. So we have 49 times 10 to the power of 9 over 10 to the power of 2. Now, you might have already guessed, we are looking at these two numbers here. So we have a 10 to the power of 9 sitting at the top and 10 to the power of 2 sitting at the bottom. And as we know, we are now working towards a second index law type of problem. So we have 49 times 10 to the power of 9 take away 2, because as we know, the second index law tells us that we minus the powers when we are dividing numbers with the same base. So this gives us 49 times 10 to the power of 7. Therefore, there are 49 times 10 to the power of 7, or 490 million people staying in the United States. Cool, so make sure you write that out in a full sentence. All right, let's have a look at the final question now. Okay, so this question says that the area of Victoria is 2.27 times 10 to the power of 5 kilometers squared. Now, if the total area of Australia is 7.69 times 10 to the power of 6 kilometers squared, what percentage of Australia does Victoria cover? All right, so we have Victoria, which is at 2.27 times 10 to the power of 5. Then we have Australia, which is 7.69 times 10 to the power of 6. So we're trying to see what percentage that is out of that. So we have to do exactly that. So let's write this out as fractions. So we have 2.27 times 10 to the power of 5, which is the kilometers of Victoria, out of a total area of 7.69 times 10 to the power of 6, which is the total area of Australia. Now, we are obviously converting this into a percentage, and as we know, when we convert anything into a percentage, all we have to do is multiply by 100. Okay, so now let's do these separately. So I'm going to use a different color to separate this out. So let's do this left-hand side separately to the right-hand side. Okay, so 2.27 divided by 7.69, according to the calculator, it gives me approximately 0.295. And then we have 10 to the power of 5 multiplied by 10 to the power of 2, because as we know, 100 is simply 10 to the power of 2. So we have times 10 to the power of 7 for the top, because 5 plus 2 simply get added, over 10 to the power of 6, which is the number at the bottom. All right, so we have 0.295 multiplied by 10 to the power of 7 take away 6, because again, we are employing the second index law here, which gives us 1. So 0.295 times 10 is simply 2.95%. Therefore, to answer this question, what percentage of Australia does Victoria cover? Victoria covers 2.95% of Australia. All right, guys, so this brings us to the end of the indices questions. We did it in two different halves there, as you saw. For next, we are now looking at the algebra questions. So thanks, guys. Make sure you have a go at the worksheets. I hope they're helpful, and I will see you in the next lecture.